happiest man in the history of time right now is Paul Maurice.
Did he dye his hair? Or is that just Florida sunshine?
I don't know.
No, that's Florida sunshine.
Because he's looking very young these days, very youthful.
I think, like, based on how this press conference goes, I think you'll realize that Paul Maurice has never been happier in his entire life. Here's an answer when he's asked about the giveaways in the game last night. There was only one by the Florida Panthers all game long, and he has a great response that I think is something we've talked about previously, and it's just happy Paul Maurice, so it's fun.
Paul, you guys, according to the stat sheet, had just one giveaway tonight. Is that something that you...
That's awesome.
Is that something
Just don't tell me Bobrovsky had it.
No. Do you want to know who it was?
Yeah, who was it?
Hecky.
Oh, he's out.
Is that something that you guys talked
Running
about?
bits.
Or, I mean, you were surprised by it, so I don't know if...
No, you know what? And to be fair, I don't follow the qualification of what a giveaway is. There were so many puck battles on the walls that I thought we had control of the puck that we didn't make a play, and it's into their feet, and then they get possession of it. I would count that as a giveaway. I think the change of possession, it's either forced or it's not in some ways. What am I trying to say? I think there's a hell of a lot more giveaways in that game for two coaches, and Ekblad's out.
So the one thing before we get to the fun Ekblad out and Paul Maurice is just so happy. The giveaway thing I wanted to bring up because we talked about it with when Biz ran his SOT on Mitch Marner and all of the turnovers he had, and then when you check the actual stat card and it says Mitch Marner had one turnover, and you're like, no, we just ran a 7-piece highlight reel of Mitch Marner turnovers. The numbers aren't what we think of. You know, we can't trust these giveaway numbers on the box score because the people who are in front of the benches, who are on the benches, who are on the ice, don't look at it the same way the stat counters do. So
or the coaches do.
Or the coaches do. And I like when somebody who has more pedigree within the game says the thing that kind of we're all thinking. So there's something to back it up there. And I just want to bring that up.
I want to just add to that. I think the more important stat for individual players anyway is takeaways. Takeaways, when you actively take the puck away, like you look at a guy like Mark Stone where you see it over and over and over again. Another guy who's good with takeaways is William Nylander.
Feels like a takeaway is easier to quantify than a giveaway.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, because what Paul Maurice there is not, he's saying, well, if we gave the puck or if it changes possession, it's a giveaway. I don't think it is. I think the idea of a giveaway is you coughed it up because of pressure or because of mistake or because of both.
Well, it's an opportunity you could have had the puck and you didn't.
Otherwise, we're just tracking change of possession.
I think that's what he's doing.
Yeah, which is not.
But my whole thing with this is not like the individual stats of like what we think each should mean. I just think like the way you look at each stat is different in your evaluation of the team and who should be out there. You know, it's not just black and white. Hey, this guy had this many giveaways this season or amongst this games, and then you put that into a stat, and then it pumps out some number on this guy's defensive metrics or offensive metrics. It's not that simple. I don't think anybody within the game thinks it's that simple. No. And a lot of the times we look at things and we try and make it that simple, and it's really not. So complicated and nuanced. I
mean, he literally finds the publicly available information kept by the National Hockey League laughable. Like he burst out laughing.
It better not have been Bob.
That was a knee slapper. He thought it was hilarious. So that's really interesting though, because he quantified to an extent what the Florida Panthers, but he is the head coach of the Florida Panthers, what the Florida Panthers count as a giveaway. I wonder if they track it internally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They have to.
It probably takes forever.
Yeah.
I also wonder if there's ever an instance where a game is so bad, a coach just goes to the stats department and they go, no.
Don't count this one.
That's burning the tapes. Mm-hmm. No, we're going to burn the tape of that game. No, it's really burning the tapes when you tell your stats department not to track it.
Yeah. I have a little thing that like tracks my golf swings, and like if you completely like skull one or you just miss it, you don't include that in like your average distance or anything. If you hit your driver 100 yards and it's supposed to go 200, you know, you just don't.
If
have
I
that
hit my driver 100 yards, it'd be the best hit I've ever had, ever. It's the best hit I've ever. I'd be like, include, please. Include.
Right. So
that's my only hit.
So if I'm doing that I'm the amateurist of stat keeper for my golf, I think they should be doing that too at their level.
Yes. No, I watched a game where possession changed hands probably 500 times and only one giveaway from the team in red.
Yep.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Stop
And
it
then-
immediately.
Do you guys have any thoughts on him just running bits and doing Ekblad's out?
No
and
one's
everybody,
having a
and
better
everybody's just laughing.
I like that he has personality, man. I really, really do. And I think that it wasn't whatever happened in Winnipeg that caused him to be. I don't think that team was I think there were character issues on that team. And I've seen reporters talk about it. It's been rumored about it. I think he managed a lot and dealt with a lot there. And that's not it's not an indictment on the city of Winnipeg. I think it's just the players that they had at the time. And I think he's enjoying it. And what's nice is that we've got a coach with some personality in this league. So people like him, Paul is becoming a star before our eyes. 25 years into his career. How about that? I love that.
Oh, even more. Even more. I'm not sure any coach has ever been more poorly timed for the Leafs. He was the head coach of the Leafs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who just learned that because I said it. Like, that's how much of a blip on the radar his time with the Leafs was. He was the Marlies guy. They called him up. They gave him no goalies. And he'll talk about that in interviews, too. He completely sewers his guys. It's hilarious. Because he had Toskala Raycroft.
Yeah, it's brutal.
It's just terrible. And then he was gone. And he's basically been pretty damn successful since.
Yeah. And a lot of that time without goaltending right until Hellebuck showed up.
Hellebuck. Yeah, no goaltending, the goaltender.
Are the two best coaches in the National Hockey League in the state of Florida?
Yeah. I think that you can make a good. I mean,
Certainly
it depends
the two
on
funniest.
Depends on what you think of Bruce
And I
Cassidy.
think that counts.
Bruce Cassidy in Vegas is to me one of the best. Although rumor has it that Vegas is very analytically inclined, so it takes some of that out of the coach's hands. As in, like, they'll hand you a piece of paper after a period and say, these are the lines you're going to
Like the Blue Jays?
The Blue Jays will do that too.
Like,
Yeah,
that
the Blue
sounds like
Jays
the
do
Blue
that.
Jays.
Yeah. They don't talk about it, but like, there are
Can they
certain teams-
borrow some of the Golden Knights' success or what?
Oh no.
No?
You actually have to believe your stats are wrong for that.
Oh, that's good.
That's
good.
Again, remember the score takes care of itself, except when it doesn't. And
The Honshu Chronicles or whatever.
Who else would I put? I mean,
Pete
how do we not
DeBoer
put Pete DeBoer in
Has
there?
been in
Yeah.
4 conference finals now.
Yeah.
In the last 5 years.
I would
So
say the one
DeBoer
coach
gets
that's
in there.
missing is Craig Berube because he's the Leafs coach. He's now among the greatest of all time.
No Jim Montgomery in there?
Oh, Monty, man.
No Rick
okay,
Tocchet
all
in
right,
there?
all right. How many years of Monty in Boston do we have to talk about before we go?
I'm not
putting
putting him in that category.
Well, because he had 2 amazing regular seasons.
How
But
many years
then-
until he gets Dwayne Casey'd, I think.
That's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say. Because like there were conversations happening. You guys remember
Oh, yeah.
if Boston loses Game
Oh, yeah.
7
Yeah.
this year,
Oh, yeah.
Monty's job's under threat.
Oh, yeah?
What?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
What?
Well, you blew it last year. You can't blow it again.
Yeah.
Like, eventually something's got to give.
Isn't that nuts?
I
though?
mean, pretty rare you blow a 3-1 series deficit back-to-back years.
Yeah.
Like, it's happened.
A little bit on the coach.
even
I want to say it's happened less than 40 times in NHL history. So for it to happen twice in 2 years,
even
is insane.
even almost blowing it the second time is still almost blowing it.
No.
You know what I mean? Like you still have to look at that and go, well, that's not great.
No.
Like what people are sticking Rod Brindamore with, despite the fact that Rod's actually won a lot of playoff series in his time in Carolina. It's like Monty might be at the beginning of that, unless they figure out what the thing is to get them to the next level.
This is, once again, I asked the question a few weeks ago. How many elite coaches are there?
Oh, well, you can't have a lot.
Well, like
You have to have like 3 to 5 max.
I think we have a category of 3 to 5, and then another category of maybe 8 good ones, and then I think you got a whole big old pile of mid, and then you got some dudes who teams are just trying.
Can I get you guys? I'm going to do it. We're going to clip this.
Okay.
Adam and Steve's. That's it. Adam Wylde and Steve Dangle's top 5 coaches in the National Hockey League.
Oh.
Oh,
All right.
List it.
All right.
You got to make it quick
Is
and
it just
snappy.
this year?
Currently.
Currently,
Current.
right now.
Yeah.
currently and based off the past,
Based
few
on
years.
vibes.
Based
Oh,
on V-Base.
Yeah.
No, that changes my answer. Because I don't
Okay.
like Pete DeBoer. Like I'm not.
Pete DeBoer does
gonna
not
be
have vibes.
All right, let's get another round for Pete.
Yeah.
Like no, Cooper. That guy's gonna be telling knee slappers till they kick us out.
Okay, based on the best, based on BS.
I think, by the way, I think Cooper can quote like Socrates too. Like I think he's that one of those guys who's funny but also very smart.
I'd go out for beers with Paul Maurice. I'd go out for wine with.
None of this is a top 5 list.
No, this is
just you
important.
guys gabbing
You
about.
said vibes, and I'm talking about who I want to drink with.
Okay, so here's the easy one. John Cooper is the best coach in the National Hockey League.
I think so.
1, 2.
Number 2, I think.
No, we should.
Oh, I'm not number.
We should have gone 5 to 1.
5-1. Oh,
Yeah, that makes
well,
that makes the.
all right. Well,
TikTok
we know
better.
how we're building it.
No,
All
Okay,
right,
fine.
so 5.
We need the coach pyramid.
When are you going to put it? Come up with your cards.
I need to
have
do
your-
it.
you need to
Come
have
up
your-
with my stupid coach pyramid.
Coach power rankings.
Yeah.
John Cooper, Pete DeBoer, I think is in that.
Yep.
I'd put Bruce Cassidy in that.
Paul Maurice.
I wouldn't have a few years ago, but yeah, Paul Maurice I think has got to be in there now. And then
Can I throw a name?
Yeah,
That's going to make me unpopular.
you could lob it.
Except for one place. Rick Tockett's name. Not yet. Not yet.
He hasn't had enough.
He hasn't had
enough.
Is he not the current coach of the year?
He's the current
Yeah,
coach of the year,
which-
but he hasn't
which
had enough.
means he's-
Monty was last year.
2 years
Okay.
away from getting fired. Like,
Yeah.
that's usually what that means.
I think seeing what he did with a very similar Vancouver team that Bruce Boudreau had, what he did at the beginning of this season, and then through maintaining it throughout the team as they added pieces as well, Rick Tocchet needs to be in the top 5.
On the almost list, I would also put Andrew Brunette. Because what he did in Nashville this year,
Yeah.
I think is really impressive.
Is Brendan Moore out of your top 5?
Yes, because I'm putting in Jared Bednar.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Bednar.
Bednar.
That's a good
You
choice.
put DeBoer in there too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay, so
I
you agree.
Brendan Moore, I think, is somewhere between the
5 and 10?
two tiers that I mentioned.
And Torts, what he did with Philadelphia this year.
Torts?
can't be ignored.
No?
What do you mean, nah? They almost made the playoffs.
Wow.
They're a garbage team.
Oh, you're right. He
Wow.
deserves to be in the elite class because they choked a playoff spot. What are you talking about?
Martin St. Louis?
No, not yet. No,
Not yet.
Not that
what
he
have they
could.
done?
They
have they done?
They
I'm
finished.
asking
They finished close to
questions.
last and less close to last.
I'm asking. Okay, so you named a bunch of guys.
Yeah.
Let's now do this. Steve Dangle and Adam Wylde's top 5 coaches list going from 5 to 1.
Oh, I hate it.
Rank them.
All right, fine.
You said that like Dua Lipa.
Rod Brendamore 5.
Have you seen that interview with Seth Meyers?
No.
They play this game where it's truth or take a shot. And she goes, "You have 3 kids, right?" And then he goes, "Yeah." And she goes, "Rank them." Anyway, Adam, yes.
I'm glad you explained that. I know that Maddie's dying
right.
over there.
5 to 1.
Rod Brendamore at number 5. The disrespect to Rod is unfair. Okay.
Mhm. You can have your separate list.
Number 4, Jim Montgomery. I don't think that you put together the best regular season of all time and at least have a little recency bias and be on this list.
I put him in the Rod tier.
You put him in the Rod tier?
Yeah.
You get your own list. Shut up.
Okay, fine.
Actually, you know what? No. I'm taking Monty back because it's unfair. Because I have John Cooper later on.
Okay, list them.
Okay, so Rod,
We went through everybody.
Rod,
Okay.
Paul Maurice,
Mhm.
Pete DeBoer. Who was the number 2 I had? Jared Bednar. Number 1, John Cooper.
Steve.
I'm going to say Pomo number 5. You got to win a cup.
Oh,
That's what they call him. Pomo. Paul Maurice. Prison rules, Paul.
are you on the Panthers now?
Yeah. No,
Benny,
no,
you
I
know?
would call him like friggin' palsy or something.
Hey, Jess,
Like,
you remember when Dua Lipa took a shot? It was crazy.
It's a heartwarming clip.
All right, Steve, make your list.
I've put Paul Maurice 5, Bruce Cassidy 4, Bednar 3, DeBoer 2, Cooper 1.
Okay.
It's good. It's good
You're
stuff.
welcome, Maddie. All right? You're welcome.